In the age of AI, learning to cultivate your discernment is going to be one of the most important things you can do to expedite your ascension process. So, in simple terms, discernment is like knowing what to trust, what to act on, and what to let go of. Okay, and that's even before any of the evidence comes to light. So, it's that inner knowing, that inner compass. And we could see during the pandemic, there was a lot of people lacking discernment. We've never been taught to cultivate discernment. They didn't teach us this in school, because if they taught us discernment, many people's consciousness would awaken out of the false matrix. They would stop being deeply programmed, and they would start to actually see the truth in this world. So discernment and learning to cultivate your discernment is by far one of the greatest things that you're going to need to do moving forward, especially with the cultivation of AI coming into play, because AI now can make people look real, they can make them speak real. And I don't know about you personally, but it's like the bullshit radar. My bullshit radar has gotten so strong the more I do my deep inner work. Okay, that more shadow work, the inner child healing, the working through my trauma, all that baggage that I've let go of, all that shit that was holding my frequency low. When you start to really cultivate that frequency into higher, more and more DNA is turning on, and your bullshit meter is going to get better and better. And like, I was offline for months, and I come back online, and it just blew my mind within a few months how many people were speaking chat GPT AI scripts right there. There was no authenticity there, okay? You could feel the energy behind the message. The energy didn't match up to the words that were coming out. Now, don't get me wrong, some AI is going to be very knowledgeable and very helpful for a lot of people. But when people are pretending like it's their own words, right? They're trying to come off as this is their teachings, this is their words. And if you don't have discernment, you're not going to be able to differentiate between the two. And for me, authenticity is right at the top. It's paramount. It's key, because when we're authentic, we're truly ourselves. And that energy is the highest frequency we can hold. They did studies of this in back, I think, 2023, where most people thought love was going to be the highest frequency, but it wasn't. It was authenticity, okay? When we are authentic, we are truly ourselves. And that emanates, you can feel that energy. And can you discern moving forward when people are speaking from the heart, when they're speaking from their truest, authentic being? That is going to be such a powerful revelation to be able to work through the lies, the deception, the manipulation that is going to be absolutely rampant moving forward as AI continues to become more and more real. And discernment starts with you knowing yourself, your values, your biases, your triggers, even your habitual patterns. The more you understand your unique landscape, the easier it is to notice when somebody's trying to sway you off of that course. Practices like journaling, meditation, or even mindfulness practices are great ways to help cultivate more discernment. Your body and subtle inner signals often knows the truth before your mind does. So practice tapping into these internal gut feelings, right? Your intuition. What is that first initial gut feeling? Is it truth or is it not? Before the mind tries to rationalize it. And here's a tip. The body often responds to truth with ease and clarity, while fear or deception can trigger heaviness and a feeling of almost confusion in the body. So observing patterns, reflecting on past decisions can be very powerful, because you can ask, what guided me? What were those outcomes? And when we start to really observe, we will start to see what patterns and where our discernment is lacking. And this is a huge one. Seek multiple perspectives. Try to be non-biased. What most people do, or they have their research style is confirmation biased, meaning they are only going to bring into the reality stuff that fits their belief system. So this can be very, very challenging. We saw that during COVID, right? people were researching, while some people were researching, had an open mind, and they were bringing in all these different aspects, and then they could use their discernment to see what felt true for them. And then there was other people who said, I just believe in the science, they would say, right? Which means they had big blinders up, no other information was going to get through, and they just had a belief system that what the people were telling them, the higher ups, that's truth, that has to be truth, that's who I go to for my information. And there was a confirmation bias happening there, okay? So learning to be open can be really, really beneficial in helping us break through these deep programs and become much more discerning. So learning to practice non-reactivity can be very powerful because discernment thrives when you're not reacting from fear, from ego, from desires, these types of things. Give yourself time to weigh the information. You don't need to give answers or opinions right away. Discernment comes from trusting this inner knowing and sometimes objectively looking at it all, sitting with it for a while, and then making a decision. And this is where human design can come in. I know for both Melissa and I, we are emotional generators. What does that mean? That means we have to ride the emotional wave of that decision, okay? So usually sitting with it overnight, letting it ride itself out, and then we make that decision. And when we slow down and we do that, our discernment is usually fully engaged and it is always going to be the right decision. Discernment isn't just mental, it's also energetic. So be aware of your energy and protecting that energy. It helps you filter out those external influences. Be aware of people, environments, and even media that drains your energy. That is going to misalign you from your truth. Our discernment will deepen over time through trial, error, and reflecting on those errors, okay? This is we learn through experience. So the more you do this, the more you tap into some of these tips that I've given you here, your discernment is going to get stronger and stronger. You'll be able to start to really feel the energy behind these messages. And that is going to be a game changer for you moving through this new earth, this new age of AI and misinformation. Let me know in the comments if this helped. I want to know. Have a great day. Much love.